Do I even have free will in this algorithm-controlled life? Do you ever find yourself pausing, contemplating the origin of your next choice? That swipe on your smartphone, the scroll through endless feeds, or the impulse purchase you made so casually, did you genuinely decide upon it, or was it perhaps predetermined by unseen forces guiding your hand? Welcome to the 21st century, a time when algorithms have ascended to positions of power, shaping our preferences and directing our behaviors almost like deities in a modern pantheon. We find ourselves as fervent believers in these complex systems of code, placing our trust in technology that anticipates our needs and desires with unsettling precision. This contemporary reality we inhabit is intricately designed to manipulate our very desires and crafting experiences that feel inherently personal, yet are often algorithmically predetermined. Everywhere we look, from social media platforms to online shopping websites, we are surrounded by data-driven decisions that seem tailored to us, but are they truly our own? This digital landscape raises a compelling question. The question is, are we making authentic choices, or simply following a script written by unseen architects of our online environments? But what if I told you that the discussion surrounding our freedom to choose is far from a contemporary conundrum? The philosophical discourse on free will has been unfolding for centuries, and echoing through the ages from ancient Indian thinkers to the intellectual giants of the Enlightenment in Europe. This age-old debate probes the very essence of human agency and autonomy, challenging us to reflect on the nature of choice in a world influenced by intricate into one of humanity's most profound and enduring dilemmas. Do we truly possess free will in a landscape dominated by algorithms? This inquiry transcends the present moment, grounding us in a rich fabric of thought that spans cultures and epochs, and inviting us to consider the ways in which our lives are shaped by both our personal desires and the formidable algorithms that now dominate our choices. What lies at the intersection of technology, philosophy, and human experience? Join me on this journey as we unravel the intricacies of free will in an algorithm-driven world and challenge ourselves to find meaning and agency amidst the noise of contemporary life. Imagine the sensation of waking up. The gentle ray of sunlight filters through the curtains, coaxing you from slumber. As your mind shakes off the remnants of dreams, you instinctively reach for your phone, fingers grazing the screen before your brain has fully engaged. In that half-aware state, the first thing that greets you is not something you consciously selected. Rather, it is a meticulously crafted offering, presented to you by an intricate web of algorithms, tailored with precision, optimized to perfection, engineered specifically to capture your attention and hold it like a moth to a flame. Netflix, that ever-present companion, tells you what to watch next, presenting a curated selection of shows and movies designed not just to entertain you, but to keep you engaged, clicking, and coming back for more. Spotify crafts your playlists, fine-tuning the melodies to resonate with your emotions, creating a soundtrack for your day that both soothes and stimulates. Meanwhile, Tinder presents potential partners, showcasing faces and profiles selected through a dazzlingly complex system that attempts to match your desires and preferences with others in the vast sea of humanity. It all feels remarkably like choice. Each tap on a like, each scroll through recommendations gives the illusion of freedom. But is it truly choice? Or has the line blurred between what we genuinely want and what we are gently guided or even nudged toward? Take a moment to ponder the implications. What if your tastes, your preferences, and even your desires were no longer authentically yours? Each time you swipe right, click play, or add to your watch list, you're not merely making a decision. You are feeding the very machine that fuels the vast engines of consumerism and social connectivity. Every action, every like, every pause on a video serves as a breadcrumb, feeding data back into the algorithm that seeks to understand you better than you know yourself. In this landscape of hyper-personalization, we find ourselves in a paradoxical reality. We're not the ones choosing. Instead, we are being chosen. We are crafted into predictable patterns, box-ticked into categories, molded into profiles that receive the seamless convenience of curated content. The impact is pervasive, subtly altering our behaviors, shaping our choices, and redefining the very essence of our agency. As we navigate this maze of curated experiences, it begs the question: how much of what we consume is truly our own preference, and how much of it has been intricately designed for us by algorithms that watch our every move? In the end, the line between choice and manipulation blurs, leaving us to wonder who really holds the reins in this technologically driven relationship between ourselves and the digital landscape we inhabit. Baruch Spinoza, the renowned philosopher of the 17th century, put forward a compelling argument regarding the concept of free will, positing that it is, in fact, merely an illusion. In his view, every action and thought that a person experiences is not a product of autonomous choice, but rather an integral part of an unbroken and intricate chain of cause and effect that stretches back incessantly through time. This perspective challenges the very foundations of how we perceive autonomy and decision-making. Spinoza asserted that the mere consciousness we possess of our own actions is misleading. Most individuals, he argued, mistakenly categorize themselves as independent thinkers, free to make choices at will. However, he emphasized that this sense of freedom arises from a fundamental ignorance of the myriad factors and influences that actually determine our behaviors. He succinctly articulated this idea in his writings, stating, "Men think themselves free because they are conscious of their actions and ignorant of the causes by which they are determined." In light of Spinoza's philosophy, the mechanisms of modern algorithms and technology are not as divergent from the natural world as they may initially seem. In fact, they can be likened to nature's own processes. Just as Spinoza believed that human behavior is shaped by the complex interplay of prior causes, so too do algorithms generate outcomes based on extensive data inputs and established patterns. They operate under principles of predictable behavior and predetermined responses, essentially fabricating a semblance of free choice. Rather than creating entirely new pathways of thought and decision, algorithms serve to accelerate and optimize that which has always been inherently present in human behavior. They analyze vast amounts of data, uncovering trends and correlations that reflect the underlying determinism that Spinoza described. Thus, the intricate designs of algorithms serve to mirror the processes of the natural world, revealing that, much like the human mind, they are subject to the very same laws of cause and effect that govern all existence. In this sense, both the complexities of our psychological experiences and the workings of sophisticated algorithms share a common foundation in the deterministic framework that Spinoza so profoundly elucidated. Let's take a moment to rewind and reflect on a significant philosophical concept that originated over 2,400 years ago. In ancient times, the great philosopher Plato introduced an allegory that has continued to resonate through the ages, addressing the nature of reality and human perception. He described a group of prisoners confined within the dark confines of a cave, shackled in such a way that they could only face the blank interior wall before them. The only stimuli they received were the flickering shadows cast on that wall, created by objects and figures passing behind them, illuminated by the faint light of a fire. These prisoners, having known nothing else, came to mistake the shadows for the entirety of existence, believing wholeheartedly that the mere silhouettes they observed were the essence of reality. Fast forward to our contemporary era, and we find ourselves in a similar predicament, though the cave has transformed into a digital landscape. In this modern cave, the shadows have taken on new forms, represented by the carefully curated highlights of platforms like Instagram, where each post is meticulously filtered and presented to craft an idealized version of life. The lives we see on our screens are often incomplete, painted with artificial hues and selective narratives that lead us to form a skewed perception of reality. The images and stories shared by individuals may evoke envy or aspiration, but they frequently mask the complexities and struggles of daily existence, resulting in a curated truth that lacks the raw authenticity of real life. Much like the prisoners in Plato's cave, we find ourselves hesitant to question the representations that flood our feeds, For in many ways, we have never ventured outside this digital sphere to confront the reality that lies beyond it. The vivid displays of filters and edits create a comforting yet deceptive facade, one that leads us to believe that these shadows define our lives, our relationships, and our self-worth. The warnings inherent in Plato's Allegory ring truer than ever, reminding us that without critical examination and daring exploration beyond the walls we build, be they physical or virtual, we risk remaining ensnared in our own limited understanding of what it means to truly live, to connect, and to see the world as it is in its fullness and authenticity. In the 19th century, the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer introduced a thought-provoking perspective on the nature of human will and choice that continues to resonate today. He articulated this idea succinctly when he stated, "Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills." At first glance, this statement might appear paradoxical, yet it reveals a profound truth about the complexities of human desire and decision-making. When you think you are making a choice, such as scrolling through a social media feed or selecting a romantic partner, it is easy to assume that these decisions stem from pure, unencumbered freedom. However, upon closer examination, we must ask ourselves a critical question. What influences the desires and preferences that lead us to make these choices in the first place? Our will is not formed in a vacuum. It is something complex woven from various threads, including our personal memories, past traumas, societal influences, and even the relentless pull of algorithms designed to capture our attention and dispense quick hits of dopamine. The interplay of these factors shapes our desires in subtle yet powerful ways. They inform our needs, goals, and motivations, often without our conscious awareness. Given this intricate web of influences, we must consider whether we can truly call this experience freedom. While it may feel liberating to make decisions, the underlying forces that drive our will often overshadow this illusion of autonomy. Are we genuinely exercising free will, or are we merely acting out a script written by our experiences and the world around us? The philosophical implications are profound. If our will is shaped by external and internal conditioning, how do we reconcile the concept of personal agency with the reality of these influences? In questioning the nature of our freedom, we may begin to understand the limitations of our choices and the factors that govern them, leading to a deeper exploration of what it truly means to be free in a world filled with unseen strings pulling us in various directions. As we navigate our lives, particularly in a digital landscape rife with stimuli and distractions, we might find ourselves reflecting on the authenticity of our desires and the extent of our freedom in making choices. Now let's shift our focus eastward to the richness of ancient Indian philosophy, particularly the Samkhya system of philosophy. This philosophical framework postulates that human behavior is intricately shaped by three fundamental qualities, known as the gunas. These are sattva, which embodies clarity and purity, rajas, representing desire and dynamic activity, and tamas, signifying inertia and darkness. In this context, your actions can be understood not as isolated or independent choices driven purely by free will, but rather as a complex dance of these influential forces. The interplay of sattva, rajas, and tamas creates a deep-seated pattern within us, guiding our decisions and actions in ways we may not fully recognize. Even in the absence of modern algorithms and technological influences, we find ourselves inherently programmed, shaped by the very fabric of nature itself. It is important to note that the impact of our environment and inherent qualities does not vanish just because we step away from coding and machines. On the contrary, the algorithms we create and navigate in our contemporary lives often serve to amplify the rajas within us, the ceaseless desire, the relentless movement, and the ever-present craving for more. These external constructs can heighten our existing tendencies, propelling us into a whirlwind of restlessness that pulls us away from the balanced state of sattva. Thus, as we consider the role of our inherent gunas, we begin to see that our behaviors are woven into a complex narrative, one that is as much about our internal landscapes as it is about external forces and influences. The intricate dance of these energies compels us to reflect on the deeper dimensions of our existence and the ways we can strive for harmony within ourselves and with the world around us. Let's not succumb to despair, for even in the most daunting times, there lies a glimmer of hope and a path forward. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by the forces of the world around you, forces that often seem beyond your control, then consider the possibility that while you cannot direct the course of external events, you can indeed take charge of your own awareness and reactions. The ancient philosophers known as the Stoics imparted a profound lesson that remains relevant today. Although we may not have the power to dictate what happens in our lives, we do hold dominion over how we respond to those events. This fundamental coping strategy fosters resilience and empowers us to navigate life's challenges with grace. Through practices such as mindfulness, emotional detachment, and self-inquiry, we can liberate ourselves from the suffocating grasp of algorithms and societal expectations that frequently dictate our thoughts and behaviors. The journey toward reclaiming our mental space begins with an incredibly powerful, albeit simple, act. The act of pausing. In a culture that often values speed and multitasking, taking a moment to pause can feel radical. However, this pause is not an empty one. It is a profound invitation to reflect on our circumstances, to question our reactions, and to explore our thoughts. When you pause, you create a sacred space for contemplation. It is in this stillness that you can gain clarity and perspective, allowing you to step back from the noise and chaos of daily life. By recognizing the patterns of your thoughts and feelings, you gradually disentangle yourself from the automated responses that so often govern our actions. This moment of introspection gives you the opportunity to reclaim not only your focus, but also your peace of mind. Embrace this radical pause, for it is the first step toward reclaiming the narrative of your life and awakening to the present moment. From this place of awareness, you can cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself and your relationship with the world. In doing so, you not only learn to respond rather than react, but also discover that you possess the power to shape your own experiences, regardless of what is happening around you. Freedom doesn't always manifest as outright rebellion or defiance. In fact, sometimes it's much more subtle, often taking the form of introspection and self-reflection. It can start with a simple yet profound question. Did I actively choose this path in my life? Or was I simply nudged in a particular direction by external influences? In our hyper-connected world, where distractions abound and notifications relentlessly beckon for our attention, we must take steps towards reclaiming our mental space. Begin by turning off those incessant notifications that interrupt the flow of our thoughts. Make a conscious effort to curate your social media feeds, handpicking content that nourishes your mind rather than draining it. Choose to embrace discomfort, exposing yourself to challenging ideas, perspectives, and experiences, over seeking instant gratification in the form of dopamine hits from our screens. As we navigate through this noise of modern life, it becomes imperative that we reclaim our minds before they become mere data points in a vast algorithm. Our thoughts and feelings are not commodities to be sold. They are the essence of our humanity, deserving of our deliberate attention. While it may be true that complete freedom is an elusive ideal, we can strive for a heightened state of awareness amidst our circumstances. It is within this awareness that true power lies, a power that enables us to make conscious choices rather than merely responding to the whims of our environment. So if this video sparked a thought or a moment of reflection within you, I encourage you to share your insights in the comments below. Your perspective contributes to a collective dialogue that can help us all navigate this journey of self-discovery. And if you're seeking more content that delves deep into the realms of mind, meaning, and philosophy, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Together, let's embark on this journey of awakening, challenging ourselves to explore the profound questions that shape our lives and our world. Let's wake up together and embrace the fullness of our existence.